I'm new to using this, so be patient with me while I'm doing this today. That would be helpful. Thank you. There are two different ways to get to your course guide. One is to actually just follow links, beginning with the library website. The other way is to type the URL into the address bar. But until this comes up, I can't show you how to get there. Hold on just a second. Well, while we're waiting on this, if you notice, there is a blue box on the library's website. I think it's labeled research tables. If you would click on course guides, that's going to take you to a page where you can see some different subject areas listed. If you click education, and then on the next page, click the title of your class. And that should take you directly to your course guide. And if you look, once you get there, if you look at the URL across the top, that is the stable address, this course guide. So if you remember that or if you want to write it down, you can just type it in next down if you don't want to start at the library's website. I don't know why it's so slow. Okay, so once again, under Research Tools, click Course Guides, click Education, and then click Instructional Technology for Educators. Is everybody there? Okay, taking a second. All right, well, basically this guide is here to help you access, evaluate, and cite sources. So whether you are using journal articles or websites or books for your research papers, this site can help you with all of those things. If you notice on the bottom left-hand corner, there is a picture of the library. If you click on that picture, it's a link to the library's website. So if at any time you're in your course guide and you need to get to the library website for whatever reason, you can always click that image. Some technical difficulties today. There's a links box. Normally you would see a bunch of words here that are my tags on Delicious. Does anybody here use Delicious? It's a bookmark website. It's a cool site where you can actually, it's kind of like on your computer how you can bookmark a page to keep your bookmarks list in the browser on your laptop or your computer. Delicious it's a way to save bookmarks and that you can use on any computer. You can access it anywhere. So normally, when we're not having technical difficulties, all of my tags will come up here. You'll see words like education and technology and lesson plans and things like that. And you can just click on any of those words and it will take you to all of the websites that I have saved related to that word. All right, so it has refreshed, but it's still not showing my tag cloud. Let's see. I wonder if the weather has anything to do with this. I'm going to click the Start Here tab. This page, the Start Here page, is a general overview of things that you need to know before we actually get started in searching things. So, first off, you should know that as an ASU student, you have access to pretty much everything that's ever been published. If we don't have it here in our library or on our library's website, we can get it for you through Interlibrary Loan. And that is just basically where you tell us what you need, we borrow it from another library, you ship it out from us, the return it to us, and then we ship it back to that library for you. And 99% of the time, this is at no cost to you. And if there ever is a cost, we definitely let you know ahead of time. We're not just going to surprise you with a charge. 99% of the time, it's free. I've never had to pay for it, and I use it all the time. So if you want to learn more about interlibrary loan, you can click on this image here. Once you begin writing your papers, you may feel that you need a little help, maybe with grammar, or maybe with formatting, or citing, or things like that. These 3 links in the writing assistance box can help you with your writing. The tips and tricks box, this is mainly what I want to focus on right now. These tips and tricks can work in any database, and most of them can be used in the library's catalog too, which is called WorldCat. We're going to talk about that in just a minute. For your paper, I believe you will be required to use 1 peer-reviewed article. Is that right? So I'm going to show you how to make sure that you get peer-reviewed articles. Most databases have a little box that you can check to limit your results to only those that are peer-reviewed. But some don't. Some of them you do your search and then you refine it after that. And you'll see what I'm talking about in a minute. Boolean operators are the words and or not. Those 3 little words can either expand your search to give you more results, or it can limit your search to give you fewer, more relevant results. So for example, let's say we're doing a search for 2 words, endangered birds. If you look at these 2 circles in this Venn diagram, and if you think that those 2 circles represent all of the articles you could possibly get, if you look for endangered and birds, the database is only going to look up exactly what you tell it to. It can't read your mind, and it can't suggest things for you. It's only going to look up exactly what you tell it to. So if you tell the database, I want a paper or an article on endangered and birds, you're only going to get that small slice of articles that include the word endangered and birds. If it just has one or the other, it's not going to show up with this search. So you're going to get fewer articles because the articles have to meet both criteria. If you search for endangered or birds, you get everything that has endangered in it or birds. So some of these articles might be about endangered whales, or about birds that live in the South, or whatever. It might not necessarily be about endangered birds, but because you're getting everything. You're saying, I'll take this or this, just give me everything you've got. If you search for endangered, not birds, then you're only going to get those. These might be about endangered whales or foxes or things, but not birds. So you're saying, I want articles with the word endangered in them, but I do not want articles with the word birds in them. So those 3 little words are actually very powerful. And not limit your search. You get fewer results that way. Or expands it. Okay? Some people find that confusing because normally when we think and, we think we're going to get more because you're connecting things. But it's actually, it works the other way. So if you need a refresher on that, you have that link right here in your course guide. It's called the Boolean machine. Truncation is another trick you can use, and that is basically just using a wildcard to stand for 1 or more letters. I'm going to click on the truncation link so you can see what I'm talking about. Truncation does 2 things. It makes your life easier because it's less you have to type when you're doing a search. It also can pull up articles that you didn't even know were out there. You didn't even know that you should search for them. So for example, if you are looking for an article on children, okay, if you type the word children, the database is only going to pull up articles with that word children. But there might be an article out there that would be perfect for your paper that uses the word childhood or maybe child. Those are not going to even show up because you told it to only look for the word children. So you could be limiting yourself that way because you don't even know that that's out there for you to look for. So that's why you would want to use truncation. If you just type CHILD asterisk, you're telling the database I want articles with the word child or childhood or children. I'll take any of those. Over truncating can lead to some kind of messy results. That's just basically when you put the symbol too soon in the word. So for example, if you're trying to get an article on cloning and you know that there might be some good articles out there that don't have the word cloning in them, but that maybe say clones or clone. So let's say you do a search for CLO asterisk. It's going to pull up clone, clones, and cloning, but it's also going to pull up clown and cloud and things that start with CLO but that are not relevant to your search. That means you've over truncated. So it would have been better to search for CLON asterisk. Different databases use different symbols. Most of them use an asterisk, an exclamation mark, or a question mark. Some of them even use a $sign. If you're ever unsure what a database uses that you're trying to use, all databases have a help link that you just click on, and you can type the word truncation or wildcard, and it will tell you what that particular database uses. Okay, so let's say we want to do this search, PSYCH asterisk. It's going to pull up the word psychology and psychologist. It's also going to pull up psychic and psycho, things that probably aren't related at all to what you wanted to research. So in this case, it's been over truncated. It would have been better to search for PSYCHOL asterisk, and that way it would focus on psychology related words. If you guys have questions at any time, please let me know. Is that pretty clear to you guys? Okay, because that can really be a helpful strategy when you're doing your searching, and it can make your life a lot easier, because then you don't have to do, for example, 3 separate searches, one for child, one for childhood, one for children. You can just do one search and pull up everything. But if you need a refresher course in that, it's right here in your course guide. All right, I'm going to click the Find Books tab. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on how to find books because I put a tutorial right here that teaches you how, and you can watch that on your own time. I know that really, since this is a technology-focused class, Ms. Johnson wants me to focus on electronic and digital resources. So that's what I'm going to focus on. But I do want to let you know that you can search the library's catalog right here in your course guide. But first you have to click catalog, and then you put your cursor in the blank. Or you can put your cursor in the blank and then click catalog. But basically just make sure that you click catalog, because if you don't, the default is on course guides. So if you enter a search term, say education, and search, it's going to search for course guides that have been created that contain the word education. If you want to search the catalog, you could click catalog and then type education and then search. Sure. And while we're on the topic of ebooks, I want to let you guys know that we do have ebook readers that you can check out from the library, and I believe you get to keep those for 2 weeks. We also have ebooks that you can just download from our website onto any device, onto your laptop, your smartphone, your iPad, or whatever device you use to read books. Once you download an ebook, it disappears 2 weeks later, because it's just like checking out a book. You know, you check out a book, you have to return it on the due date. An ebook, you return it by the vendor who gives you the ebook. They delete it from your device 2 weeks later because your checkout period is over. And if you wanted to check it out again, you could download it again. So back to how to find books. I was in the course guide and I clicked catalog and I typed education. I clicked search. It led me to this page. This is WorldCat, which is our library's catalog. All right, so for that general term education, we have over 593 items with the word education in it. If I wanted to focus on books, then I could select the book box right there. And you see that brings us down to just over 30,000. If I wanted to narrow it down by language, I can click English. I can narrow it down to non-juvenile, meaning books that are not for children. Let's narrow it down by topic. And let's look for education and computer science. Okay, so we've gone from about 30,000 to 110. And then I'm going to narrow it down by year. I want to read the newest books you have on education and computer science. 13 books came up. That's a much more manageable number to look through than 30,000. So I bring all of this up to say when you begin searching in the library's catalog or WorldCat, you don't have to know what you need or want when you first start searching. You can just do kind of a broad general search, and then you can narrow it down after that. This first one that we got, you see, is an ebook. It says so right there. Now, to access our ebooks and our databases off campus, you'll need to log in using your campus-wide ID. But when you're on campus, you shouldn't have to do that. The first one you see is an ebook. The second one is a book. It's a print book. This one is an ebook. That's an ebook. This is a book. So that's how you can tell what they are. Let me do one more quick search here. This time, let's look for instructional strategies. Okay, over 10,000 results came up. I'm going to narrow it down to books. Brings us down to 630. I'm going to narrow it down to education. Brings us down to 455. And the latest year available is 2009. So that brings up 36 books that meet all of those criteria. Now, let's say we wanted to take a look at this one. I'll just click on the title. And where it says find a copy in the library, it's looking for the location and availability right now. All right. One is available. It's located in main stacks. That means that it can be checked out. If it was in main reference or another area in the library, you cannot check it out. You can use it in the library. But main stacks books are located on the 4th and 5th floors, and they can be checked out. If you notice, the call number starts with LB. All of our education-related books start with L. They'll either start with L or LA or LB or LC, but they all start with L. We use the Library of Congress system, which shelves books by subject, and we do that to make it easier for you to find stuff. So when you come in, if you know you're writing a research paper about, let's say teaching math to 5th graders, if you come in and you find a book on the shelf on that topic, if you just look on the shelf around that book, you should see other books on the same exact subject, put them all together. So you can leave the library with like 10 books on your topic right then and there. You didn't even have to search for it. So that is how to find books. Are there any questions about that? Okay, then I'm going to click the Find Articles tab. All of these databases that I've listed here contain education-related articles. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm in the middle of a class. Can I take that later? Okay, bye. I'm sorry, everybody. I leave it I'll leave my ringer on just in case my daughter's phone calls. That's all I was noted on. I'm sorry. So these are all of the databases that contain education-related articles. There's a description next to each one, and you have a few different ways that you can access these. I'm going to go, actually, let me close this. I am going back to the library's website. Under Research Tools, in that blue box again, these are all the different ways that you can access databases. You can click Databases by Title if you know which database you want to go to. Subject, if you're not sure. You can go to e-journals to see if we have a specific journal available electronically. So all of these are different ways that you can access journal articles. I'm going to click Databases by Title because right now I know which database I want to use, and that's Academic Search Complete. Academic Search Complete to me is like the Google of databases because it's so general and broad. It covers a lot of different topics. So usually I'll start with Academic Search Complete, and if I don't find articles as specific to my topic as I'd like, then I'll go on to a more subject-specific database. For this particular search, let's search for iPads and elementary education. I'm going to look for iPads in the title and elementary education in all text in the whole article. Let's see what comes up. Nothing. So we need to tweak our search. Let's look for iPads in the title and elementary in the title. And remember, these are the Boolean operators I told you about. Nothing. All right. Let's look for portable devices. Okay. Mobile devices. Mobile devices and elementary. And right now we're searching for all of these in the title. Let's see if we get anything that way. One result. So you see, sometimes you might have an idea of what you want, but the database may not have anything using those specific words. You need to change your words around a little. If you change the words many times in one database and you're still not finding what you need, and you're changing the fields to look in, meaning title, alt text, subject, then you may need to move on to a different database because databases are not the same. Even two databases that may look identical contain different articles. So don't get too frustrated when you're having a bad experience with one. Just move on to another database. So for this one, you see I have the title here. This one has 11 images in it, and the full text is right here. Right. This time, let's look for instructional design in the title and elementary in the title, not preschool in the title. I do not want preschool to come up in the title. 3 results came up. Does anybody have any questions on how to find an article? Okay, as I said, all of these databases under the Find Articles tab are related to education, but they're by no means all the databases you have access to as an ASU student. And I told you already how to get to the databases on the library's homepage. There's 3 different ways to get to them. All right, so once you have found your books and your articles, maybe even a website or 2 that you'd like to use for your paper, you need to evaluate those sources to determine if they're good enough for you to use. Book reviews are great ways to evaluate books, and the database called Bowker's Books in Print is the one that I use the most, and it's a database that you can access on the library's website. When you're evaluating journals, you need to ask yourself whether or not it's a peer-reviewed journal. For this class, you're only required to use one peer-reviewed article. The others don't have to be peer-reviewed, but I want to make sure you understand what that means. So we're going to watch this short video.
Welcome to the Newman Library at Bermuda College. I will explain what scholarly and peer-reviewed articles are and why you want to use them in your research papers and projects. Research papers and other projects use a variety of sources. Projects use a variety of sources to establish a thesis statement, argument, or point of view. Often, instructors require most of the sources of information to be from articles published in scholarly journals. Newspapers, trade journals, and magazines contain current and valuable information and can often be used as sources of information for your projects. However, they are not considered scholarly journals. So what are scholarly journals, and how do they differ from other sources of information? Scholarly journals contain articles written by academics or experts in a subject area and target an academic audience. The articles use subject-specific vocabulary and terminology since it is assumed the reader will have some familiarity with the subject area. Usually, the article contains original research. Original research means the author presents new knowledge gained from their own research, so the author does not simply review and summarize other articles, but expands upon the research and knowledge addressing that topic. The articles will usually have a research question or hypothesis, the purpose of the study, the research methods used, the results and analysis of research, the implications of the findings, and suggestions for future research. The author will include a critical literature review, which is an analysis and critique of prior research articles. And when the author refers to ideas, concepts, or quotes from other articles and research, they will include citations to the original sources. This is done by including in-text citations throughout the article, and by including a complete citation to the original source in the article's bibliography, also known as a reference list. And scholarly journals are often published by a recognized scholarly society or organization. Most, but not all, scholarly journals are peer-reviewed. Peer-reviewed journals are also known as refereed journals. Peer review is an editorial process by which books or articles written by experts are reviewed by a panel of peers or other experts in the same subject area. The expert panel may decide to reject the article or send it back to the author for revisions until it's finally ready to be published. This peer review process helps to ensure the articles being published adhere to quality standards of scholarship and provide credibility. Using scholarly journals will show that you've done a serious literature review and will give your paper or presentation more authority and credibility. Many Newman Library databases contain scholarly and peer-reviewed journals. By using these databases, you can limit your search to only retrieve or display the articles from scholarly journals. If you have more questions about scholarly journals, ask the librarian for help. Thank you for viewing this tutorial.
Okay, so I know that was pretty dry and boring, but I hope that you know now what a peer-reviewed journal is and why you should definitely look to those first when doing research. If you forget, again, this is on your course guide. There's also a link I put from Cornell University that helps explain it a little more. So feel free to go use those if you need to. Anybody can publish anything on the internet, and I'm sure you all are aware of that. So if you find a website and you think it looks good and you would like to cite it in your research paper, you need to ask yourself some questions first. And this table can help you with that. It has example questions for you to ask yourself. Things such as who wrote and created this? Who was it created for? Who's the audience? When was it last updated? You even want to look at the URL, the website address. Does it end in .com? If so, then it might be okay or it might not. Anyone can publish a .com. If it ends in .edu, it was published by an educational institution, probably a college or university, so it should be good. If it ends in .gov, it's a government website or a government document, so it should be trustworthy. If it ends in .org, it's created by an organization, usually a nonprofit, and those are usually pretty good, but these days it's getting easier for anybody to get a .org, so keep your eye on those. .edus and .govs are definitely the best websites to use. So once you have found your sources, you've determined that they are good enough for you to use, then you need to write your paper in APA style, which if you don't have a style guide, we have those in the library, and you can use them in the library. They're located on the first floor. I have also put some links here under additional info to help you with citing and formatting your APA style papers. And I would be a bad librarian if I didn't mention plagiarism and what it is. So this is a very short video we're going to watch.
Plagiarism is cutting and pasting information from the internet without a source condition. Keywords with documents that search from a source with open credit.
Plagiarism is a very serious issue, and it can actually get you kicked out of school. So please don't plagiarize. If you have any questions about plagiarism, feel free to email me, and I'll try to explain it to you a little more. That is basically your course guide. Do you have any questions about anything today? How to find articles, how to tell if they're peer-reviewed, anything? Okay, what I'd like for you to do is click on the Tell Me What You Think tab and fill that out very briefly. Once you're done with that, I have another thing for you to do. Once you're done with that, if you would please click the Home tab, the very first tab in your course guide, and then scroll down and click on the image of the library to get to the library's website. Once you're there, click Course Guides under Research Tools in the blue box. And then scroll all the way down to the bottom and click Evaluation. It's the last word. If you would please complete this. That is for our library statistics. So it would be very helpful if you would do that. Is there anybody who needs me to repeat how to get there? Okay. Okay. Do you know how to get to the library website? Okay, once you're at the library website, look in the blue box and click Course Guides. And then scroll all the way down and click Evaluation. It's the very last link. while you are completing the library evaluation, I'm going to pass out your post-test. It's exactly like the pre-test. It's front and back, so don't forget to do both sides. Are you going to use the clickers? Okay. When you finish your post-test, just hang on to it because you're going to answer the questions using the clickers in addition to